Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. This is a video not normally like my others, and there's a specific reason as to why I'm making this particular video, because the more I read about this story, the more I was saddened by the events that took place. And well, it becomes a good reminder for everybody out there that your life is not guaranteed. We should not take it for granted, especially if you are a competitor of sorts in the world of sport. And I'm enormously grateful for the ability that I have to be able to compete in marathons. I mean, because that's not an easy thing to do. And I see a lot of these elite athletes putting their literal lives on the line to, get a moment of glory or get a medal or something along those lines. And while it's great to compete, and I'm all for competition and I'm all for giving your best and pushing yourself to the utmost extreme, I think we should also be careful at the same time and not put ourselves in jeopardy to lose our life, because our life is most sacred and most precious. And look, this story uh, is quite a tragic one, and it could have been prevented. And unfortunately, the CrossFit world is grieving at the moment, and yet they're still doing sport. Like they haven't had the decency to stop the event for this year because someone literally died. A valuable member of the community died tragically, and they're still continuing. So you can only imagine how everyone in the community is feeling. Now, personally, I started CrossFit all the way back in 2016. I fell in love with the sport. I love the sport, love the community. The people are incredible, and really, CrossFit was one of the reasons why I ended up getting into running. Uh, One of the first events that I actually did was Murph. I mean, you run, you do uh, push-ups, burpees, squats. That's absolutely brutal, and I loved it. It was intense. And not long after that, I ended up um, doing long distance running, and then that led into marathon running later on. So I love this sport. I think it's an amazing sport, and they're some of the fittest people on the planet. Not going to lie, but anyway, this particular event that took place was a run swim event. Now, running, if you have an issue with running, you drop. If you have an issue with swimming, you drown. So if you just tire yourself out and you can't continue swimming anymore, what ends up happening? You lose consciousness, or you start drowning, and that's not a good situation to actually be in. But that's what happened to Lazar Dukic, who is my age, 28 years old, and that's another reason why I'm making this video, because it's a stark reality. And especially what I saw yesterday during the marathon, I believe it was a young person, didn't see his face, but ran past this person, just looked lifeless. And the medics were attending to him. They had the paddles on him. They're trying to revive him. And I still don't know what happened to him. I still hope that he's okay. But it's just like this mental, don't really know how to just put it into words really, but it's just that mental hit. Like you're doing really well, and it's like that reminder, oh, you're human. Be careful. Don't don't push it too much. Now, let's get into this story, okay? So, just wanted to pre-warn you, it is a rather tragic and sad story. So, CrossFit Games competitor dies during swim competition. What do we know? This is from Forbes. Lazar Dukic, 28 years old, Serbian CrossFit athlete, died during the CrossFit Games swimming event in Fort Worth, Texas on Thursday, prompting the cancellation of the rest of the day's events. I think it should have prompted the cancellation of the rest of the games, to be honest with you, because you have a competitor that has lost his life during, yes, it's just one event, but I think out of respect for the fact that he lost his life for a totally preventable thing, you need to cancel the games. That would have been the right thing to do, not just, oh, we're going to cancel the rest of the day's events. I think all the athletes would have, I think all the athletes, if I was an athlete, and I know a lot of them because the community is quite tight, a lot of the athletes knew Lazar and they knew him as a bright, bubbly individual. He was always smiling. He was the life, essentially. So I have no doubt that the athletes should have like been okay with the fact that the rest of the CrossFit Games would have been cancelled. Um, that would have been the right thing to do because there's nothing more valuable than one's life. But nevertheless, the CrossFit Games has continued. And look, it's in Fort Worth, Texas, the middle of summer, for goodness sake. They were doing this event when it's boiling hot. Now, doing the Sydney Marathon in 33 degrees was bad. It was horrific, and there were people dropping left, right, and center as I was running, and it was a tough slog. Now, you got to be careful with that because you could pass out at heat stroke and all kinds of things. And I had to be extra careful because of my kidneys. So there's all these elements that stack up. But the CrossFit Games are like, you know, you got to compete at the high level. And Lazar definitely competed at the high level. But what took place at this event, again, totally preventable. It could have stopped. So key facts, the CrossFit Games confirmed the competitor had died during the swimming portion of the individual event one, Marine Creek Lake in Fort Worth, Texas on Thursday. The organization did not immediately release the identity of the competitor. The police told reporters the name of the athlete would not be released until the Tarrant County medical examiner speaks with the competitor's family to verify their name and identity. The Tarrant County medical examiner identified the athlete as Lazar Dukic on Thursday afternoon, though the exact cause of death has not been listed on the medical examiner's website. It looks as if it would be from drowning, from exhaustion. Don Fowle, CEO of CrossFit, told reporters the organization is working with local authorities on an investigation. The Fort Worth, Texas Fire Department said it responded to a call around 8 a.m. CDT that a competitor had gone underwater and had not resurfaced, and a dive team had recovered the body an hour after responding to the incident. Fowle said a safety plan had been created for the event with safety personnel present on site, but it looks like they didn't do anything. That's what I've been hearing. It looks like they saw Lazar go under, but they didn't really do anything. I mean, you got to look after these athletes, man. Yes, they're fit. Yes, they're incredibly healthy. But doing an event like this, especially in the water, if you're exhausted after doing a run swim event, mate, you're in a lot of trouble, and you need to have people there that look after all these athletes. But it looks like they failed. So the brother of Lazar actually said this quote that I want to share with you all because it's quite a powerful quote. The brother of Lazar Dukic, the CrossFit competitor who died during the swimming portion of the competition in Texas, believed the tragedy could have been prevented as he broke his silence on Friday. You love the sport that didn't love you back. Luka Dukic wrote on his Instagram story above a black and white photo of a tribute to his brother. The 28-year-old Serbian athlete vanished near the end of the 800-meter swim in Fort Worth Marine Creek Lake at the annual CrossFit Games on Thursday. And I saw Noah Olson, who I follow on social media. He posted this to his story, and everyone was just really, really sad. And look, I don't even know the guy, and I'm devastated by all this. Like, there's nothing that hits hard or harder than knowing that somebody lost his life doing something that he loved to do the most. And I think it just becomes a stark reminder that your life is not guaranteed. You're not owned. You're not owed a tomorrow at all. I think we should just be incredibly grateful for the life that we do have and live it to the very best of our ability, and know full well that your life is precious and each life is precious. So I don't know what's going to happen. I mean, it looks like CrossFit is going to be in a lot of trouble. It opens them up to significant lawsuits, and lots of questions need to be need to be answered in regards to what really happened. But nevertheless, um, my heart really does go out to Lazar's family. Absolute, absolute travesty that took place. But anyway, guys, you take care. You be blessed, and I'll see you all in the next video.